Hey everybody, Life's Journey of 50 here. So literally just pulled in from doing the Colorado BDR. So I wanted a fresh perspective of getting off the bike. So you guys will see caps behind me. I'll take a little bit of walk around, still muddy, dirty. Still got all the gear on here. Literally I decided that I wanted to kind of talk about the Colorado BDR, my perspective of it. So, and I'll get into a couple of things because I'm going to go over kind of what I packed, kind of just some of those things, and for a BDR, especially on a big bike. And then really this is just a perspective and kind of what you guys will see over a course of time, because I'm going to do a series on this. There's going to be a bunch of videos around the Colorado BDR, kind of our experience. So just a little FYI, we had 9 of us, all from Ohio. One actually lives in Colorado Springs. He's a transplant. But you'll see there's 9 of us to start off. We ended up, by the time we got to Dolores, which is on section 1, for those that know the Colorado BDR, there was 4 of us left. So a couple of injuries, a couple of folks kind of just decided to bail out. And then that was kind of where we were at anyways. And one person left because it just wasn't the right fit for him and didn't like the dust and stuff, which, you know, it is what it is, right? So my perspective on the Colorado BDR, if you are riding a big bike, and I'm talking a big bike, we're talking at least a 900 above, most likely riding a 1250 GS, 1290 KTM, a Pan America, a big bike. And I would tell you that most likely need to be an intermediate rider. To be a beginner rider and to tackle the Colorado BDR on a big bike as a beginner rider, you're going to struggle pretty good. You're going to see some stuff. The mountain passes are pretty rough. Now, we did it north to south. So in the video, you'll see it. We did it north to south. We were able to do section 6 and 5 all in one day. Great stuff. Nothing super challenging. A couple spots that you have to kind of be ready for, but we did those 2 in one day. That was on a Saturday. Sunday we did section 4, which is Hagerman Pass, which is right there. I mean, it is pretty rough. The entrance, again, going north to south, the entrance, even as we went down on the south side, if you had to go up that side, it's a challenge. So Hagerman Pass was pretty intense. And we got done with that. We dispersed camped on that night. So that's day 2. Day 3 was Monday. We tackled section 3. Section 3 has all the passes. That's California Cinnamon, Hurricane, and I'll show the other ones in there. But anyways, long story short is California going from the backside is pretty rough as well. Corkscrew was on this one. And we did not do, or was that day 2? That was day 2. I'm sorry, that was section 2. Section 3 was pretty rough. We had a lot of mud, a lot of rain. And then we get into Ophir. We saved actually Ophir for, that was Wednesday morning. Yeah, we did Wednesday, which was the end of section 2, which is Ophir, and then we did it all the way down to Dolores on Wednesday. And then we boogied home Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We actually went from Dolores, instead of taking 70 back up to Cincinnati, we dropped down to do 40, which was a much better route, better riding. We went down through New Mexico, through Albuquerque, and then Albuquerque all the way on 40, all the way until it took us into basically Nashville, where we picked up 65 through Louisville and 71 up into Cincinnati. If you're doing a big bike on the Colorado BDR and you're a beginner, you might want to think about doing some of the bypasses and stuff like that. That's just my personal opinion. If I had to rank them, I would probably say Ophir, Hagerman, California, Corkscrew, Cinnamon, and and then the rest kind of just layer into there. I would give most of those passes Ophir, at least from my experience, because I consider myself maybe an intermediate plus rider. I'm not an expert rider by no means, but I would say I'm on the higher end of the intermediate. to a certain degree. Now, again, that's all scale of economy and what you think of your own skills and what people think of your skills. But I would say that over the course of time, I think I've got to myself to a little bit higher than just regular intermediate. I think if you had 3 levels in there, you know, like a basic, you know, beginner intermediate to advanced, I think I would be more on the advanced of the intermediate. And it was rough. I would tell you that it was some good stuff. Couple of near accidents. We almost lost a guy over Ophir. Thank goodness that Ophir has a lip to it, or his bike, and potentially he could have been seriously. It could have been a whole different story on our trip. It was like I said, it was pretty intense. Again, Hagerman, Ophir, I give, like I said, probably Ophir an 8, maybe a 7, 8, somewhere in that neighborhood. Somebody might say it's a 4 or 5, or somebody might say it's a 10 or whatever. I'd say it's a solid 8. Hagerman 6, 7. We had Tom Asher with us. If you don't know who Tom Asher is, Tom Asher is the 2016 GS Trophy team member, competed in Thailand for the U.S. team. He rode with us. He had an excellent time. He really didn't do much training with us. He's a friend of ours, and really came out to here to do this. And we've got some great, you know, hopefully I've got some good footage of him. But boy, he knows obviously how to ride, and he'll probably lower the scores on some of that stuff because he's to me he's a professional rider. But if you're just scoring it at home, just don't take it lightly. The biggest things I found is that you can get caught up in the visualizations, right? Where on Corkscrew you're going to see that Corkscrew kind of flipped me out a little bit because it is tight hairpins. I mean, it is, you know, I mean, it is elbow turns. And on top of it, when you make that elbow turn, you come over and to me on Corkscrew, there was nothing. You just saw the flat out, just the horizon with the mountain range in the far west, and it kind of froze me twice. And one time I slid kind of into the side of the hill or whatever, just because it visually kind of affected me. So you do have to deal with that. You really have to stay focused on what you're doing, where you're riding, where the bike's going, how you're aligning, how you're riding it. And not get caught up in all the scenery. Luckily enough, I had the GoPros going. Unfortunately, I mean, not GoPros, but I had my DJIs going. And unfortunately, someone stole one from my bike. We were in Ouray having lunch. And now I'll just blame it on me. I left it mounted on my bike. Right here I have a mount. And someone came along and took the whole mount off the bike. That kind of stinks because it took one day of footage, which was some of the good stuff from Cinnamon in California, at least from the bike view. I have all the helmet view stuff, but so I'm a little bit bummed on that. Again, long story short is I would just tell you that if you're going to do the Colorado BDR Perspective, there is great dispersed camping. If you don't want to pay for hotels or none of that stuff, there is great places for dispersed camping. You just have to find it. It's all over. It's readily available and just fantastic spots. We stayed normally anywhere from about 8,000 to about almost 9,600 feet. We didn't camp above 10,000, but we mostly camped in that 7,000 to 9,500 range. It was absolutely fantastic. I don't know what else to say. We had one campground we went to just because we wanted to shower. We went a few days without, and then we had a shower a few more days. On the way out, we stayed at a couple Airbnbs, and on the way back, a couple of hotels. I'll get into all that because I'm going to share the expenses on a BDR and some of the other details. But yeah, great time. A lot of stuff happened. I'll try to chronicle it as best as I possibly can throughout the videos. The crew I run with, you know, we all get along, we bust each other's chops, and really just think we had a great time. And I'll get more into it as we go. But I wanted to sit down as soon as I got home and tell you my thoughts on the Colorado BDR. So if you're going to go out there, have a blast. It was absolutely fantastic. We had great weather. I think we only ran into a few showers here and there. Outside of that, it was perfect. It's just beautiful out there. So the Colorado, they were super fantastic people. Really, people kept things clean, picked up in the forest, everything like that. I continue to say, this is the last piece, I continue to say that the West Coast folks really take care of their land versus the East Coast. We went to Northeast BDR last year. I've been on the Mid-Atlantic. I've done other numerous events on the East Coast, and people trash the forest, trash the roads on the inside. I think there's a reason why on the East there's not a lot of dispersed camping. There's not a lot of open lands for people to ride and stuff in, versus the West is because the people on the East Coast trash everything. Because you can go through the woods and it's just garbage everywhere. And on the West Coast, very, very little garbage, and I really have to commend the folks that live out west, because Wyoming was the same thing last year where it was completely clean. So anyways, my diatribe, you're going to see more coming. We had an absolutely fantastic trip, and I hope you enjoy this series on the Colorado BDR. We'll talk to you soon. Later. Bye.